heroes and villains, and welcome to the Build Face channel, helping you build a better turn. My name is Danger Ford, and welcome to week 4 of spoiler season. Yes, that's right, we are 1 month in, and about half of the box set has been revealed. So first off, a little bit of cleaning up and news and announcements. We have an update from Upperdeck via Mark Shaughnessy on the Build Face Collective Facebook page. He announced that there's yet another delay for the Legacy set, which means that it will be coming out in 1 more month on May 24th. That's really unfortunate. There are some people who are pretty upset about it, and it's justified. I understand some of the salt, but try to keep your head up high. What I've been doing is making these cards into proxies, and I've been building and doing some deck testing with them. And while it's not the same, it's still fun enough for the time being. So just try to keep your head up high, guys. Okay, so we're just going to get right into the first spoilers. So on Monday, Daily Metagame, they revealed 2 cards, both supervillains. The first one being Crossbones. He's a 1-drop with range, 1/1 with 2 health. This is pretty awesome because he is the first 1-drop character that the supervillains have gotten, which means that he will definitely be utilized, especially if you just want to use that curve. He has 2 new keywords that are being introduced. The first one being Henchmen. When a supervillain supporting character appears on your side, put a +1/+1 counter on Crossbones. So he also counts for himself. So he comes out with a counter, and he's actually a 2/2. So I can see some manipulation here with the Appear combo decks, with Singularity bringing out a bunch of supervillains, and since you get to declare what order you do them in, you can bring Crossbones out first, and then give him a bunch of +1/+1 counters. That's pretty interesting. We'll see how well he works. He's their only 1-drop, so I can see just lots of people playing him just for the fact of having something on turn 1, especially if we're getting these plot twists that are mono team affiliated, which I will be getting to. I suppose I'm getting to a little bit early, but yeah, that's a little preview for one of the next cards. His second ability is Combat Master. When Crossbones is in combat, enemy players can't play plot twists. So this is really interesting. It's kind of like the Defender's plot twist that is hardly ever used, Spellbound. This could be utilized really well, especially late game if you don't want your opponents to be using any of their plot twists, whether defensively or offensively. You can add Crossbones to the mix and make sure for certain that it works, that it sticks, whatever you're trying to do. So the next card we have is Mr. Sinister. This guy looks amazing. He's a 5-drop, 6/6 with 2 health, genius. At the start of your turn, draw a card. So that's just like Beast and Dr. Octopus, except I think it might work a little bit better on Mr. Sinister because he's got a bigger butt. He's a 6 defense, so he's more likely to, potentially I suppose, he's more likely to survive an attack and stay face up at the beginning of your turn, which is great because I like drawing more cards. The more cards you have, the more you can answer. But that's not even his best ability. He also has Genetic Manipulation. Main phase, pay a blue, choose another supporting character to gain 1. Flight, range, berserker, dodge, ferocious, or lethal. Holy hell, that is amazing. The possibilities are endless with that, guys. I mean, you can give characters like Sabretooth, you can give them another copy of Berserker, which means that he gets 2 +1/+1 counters on him every single time he attacks. Not only that, but it doesn't say until the end of the turn. It's forever. Forever. Which means that if you've got the blues, you can just keep doing it to people. That is, I mean, the possibilities are endless. You can put lethal on Lilith so that she can stun characters and get the health immediately from KOing them when she stuns them with lethal. You can give characters dodge so that Captain Marvel decks are no longer a thing. You can give them ferocious so your beefy big guy will hit everything and not have to worry about how small their defense is. I mean, this is amazing. You could just give everyone flight and range so that they can attack from the back row and fly over the front row. Holy cow, dude. That's whoa. So anyways, that's probably one of my favorite cards of the week. Going on Tuesday, the Team Attack crew and Popper Tim revealed Pyslocke. She is a 3-drop X-Men with 4/5 and 1 health. She's got Psychic Knife. When Pyslocke stuns an enemy defender, that player discards a card. You know who wants this card? Baron Mordo. That's right. This is a really good card for Baron. It facilitates his level up condition just by attacking with Pyslocke and stunning somebody. Guess what? You put Hope into the mix, and now you're using 2 copies of Psychic Knife, which means that the opponent has to discard 2 cards. Not only that, but Baron will get to experience from it. So he could get half of the amount of experience that he needs to level up in just Pyslocke and Hope. So maybe X-Men Baron Mordo is a thing. Who knows? I like this. I mean, just as much as I like drawing cards, I like making my opponent mill their cards. So yet another good example of this mechanic. On Wednesday, yours truly, the Team Build Phase crew, has revealed Captain Britain. Yes, sir, that's right. The UK may have had Taskmaster, but we have Captain Britain. So he is a 4-drop Avengers character with flight and range, a 4/4 stat block with 2 health. Rule Britannia is his keyword, and it states when Captain Britain gets powered up, put 2 extra +1/+1 counters on him. So that means that every time you power up, you give him 3 +1/+1 counters. That's amazing, guys. That means on as early as turn 3, if you have Peggy Carter out, you can have Captain Britain out. You can power him up to his own ability using his card, or any of the 4 copies of Call that you obviously put into your deck, because why wouldn't you? And if you're playing with Thor, most likely if you've hit all of your low drops, then he is also leveling up on turn 3, which means that you could have at least 7/7 Captain Britain, maybe even more. I did play a game with a friend the other day, and he had Captain Britain come out immediately at a 10/10. Plus, he had Thor, and I wasn't able to stun Thor in those first 3 turns, so he came out being a 8/8 level 2 character. So that's 18 attack altogether on this guy's side, and it was just brutal. It was brutal, guys. I mean, the counter generation that the Avengers are going to get, especially early game, especially if you have Peggy Carter out so that everybody just comes out even earlier, dude, that's just going to be game changing. I think the Avengers, and I'm not just saying this because I'm biased, but I really do think that the Avengers are going to have a place in the meta going forward. Not only that, he works really well with Captain America, the MC, for all the team attacks and whatnot. He'll be able to become really beefy, and then he works really well in an Iron Man deck, because that's Iron Man's level up condition, is to power up your characters. So we shall see just how great this card is. Next card is from the UK Versus videocast. They have an Underworld character, 4-drop Mr. Hyde. He is a 10/10, a whopping 10/10 with 2 health. So that's pretty crazy for a 4-drop. He does have this ability though, Dr. Calvin Zabo. Mr. Hyde appears with 5 -1/-1 counters. So technically he comes out as a -5/-5. A lot of people have been mentioning though that if you have Dagger and you play her right after Mr. Hyde, then you can't gain -1/-1 counters, which means that he goes back up to his 10/10. So that's pretty awesome. It doesn't work the other way around, I don't believe. I don't think you can have Dagger out and then use Mr. Hyde. But even so, on turn 4, if you have a 5/5, that's pretty decent already. And then if you just sacrifice him at any time and he gets recovered, then he no longer has those counters and he goes up to a 10/10. Or for really good shenanigans, you can use him with Doctor Strange, either the main character or the supporting character, and keep those -1/-1 counters on him and turn them into +1/+1 counters, which would mean that he turns into a 15/15. Holy cow, that's just ridiculous on turn 4. That's almost as crazy. Actually, it's maybe even crazier than, the Captain Britain card. But yeah, I'm starting to see tons of counter generation in these cards. It's definitely something that's going to be part of the meta going forward. I mentioned this in my impressions for Captain Britain, but I feel like there's a rock, paper, scissors going on here with some of the decks that will be coming out, which is we will start seeing these mono, well, I guess they don't have to be mono, but these counter generation decks where just everyone's getting counters all over the place and you're just trying to aggro everybody. We're going to get the disruption type decks like the Mordos and the Calypsos, where you're going to be countering those counters, basically anti-counter or just, stopping your characters from doing what they want to do. There's people like Grandmaster that falls into that category, or Taskmaster does that as well. Crossbones. So, and then you will have your combo decks that are, in line with Ashley Knox's Dark Phoenix deck. Just the type of characters that can do these interesting combos where maybe when they appear, something occurs so that they can continually do it with Singularity. And I'm hoping that there's a rock, paper, scissors type scenario where one beats over the other, and so on, so that there's a much more diverse and flavorful meta to go around. And I am hoping that makes the game really healthy. So last but not least, on Friday, Upperdeck and their blog introduced the first plot twist that we have ever seen for the new set. And it's an X-Men affiliated plot twist called Gifted and Talented. You'll notice that there are 3 symbols in the top right corner there, meaning that you have to have 3 characters out. Obviously your main character counts as one of them. So technically you only need to have 2 supporting characters out plus your main character. It has a keyword on the plot twist, and it seems like in the article it mentions that each of the teams are going to get this type of card where they all have the loyalty keyword, which is put this in your deck only if each card in your deck with a team affiliation has the X-Men affiliated symbol. So these are specifically pushing the mono team. It's no longer a speculation, guys. They are definitely pushing mono. So it doesn't mean that you can't have generic plot twists in there. So, you can still have your loyal soldiers, you can still have your shock to the systems, or, savage beatdowns. But anyways, moving on, the Gifted and Talented allows you to, during the build phase, draw 2 cards. So as long as you have 3 face-up characters during your build phase, it means that you can draw another 2 cards. That's freaking awesome. That's, holy cow, that might actually make Cyclops work, it'll really help out all of the X-Men, except for maybe Professor X. I mean, it would be pretty crummy to scry with Professor X's ability and draw 5 cards to get a character and see a bunch of Gifted and Talenteds that go straight to the bottom of your deck. But if you already have the characters out and you use it, then you can draw the 2 cards, and you'll just like I said, the more cards you draw, the better it is for you to answer things. So this could mean that you would be able to draw into all those blues that you need for Cyclops or Havoc. It means that you can draw into those other plot twists that the X-Men offer, like Squad Tactics and X-Factor. So I think moving forward, these plot twists are going to be really powerful effects that have specific things that you need to trigger. I really like the way that they're using this mechanic. In the old days, in the old verses, there was a resource threshold that you needed to meet. So a card would have, a number in the top left corner, just like a supporting character cost, but you didn't actually have to pay it with your resources. You just had to have 2 resources out in order to play a 2-cost plot twist. So this is kind of similar in that regard, except, they're going with the mono team. It makes me wonder if in the future we might have some plot twists that are multi-team affiliated. So maybe you'll have to have an X-Men and an Avengers character out. Maybe they'll have plot twists that are like AVX themed or flavored, So, the possibilities again are endless. I'm really excited that they're bringing these new mechanics into the game. They seem to be blending really well with the old mechanics, and I really hope that it works out well. So those are your spoilers for the week, and I hope that you enjoyed them. Follow all of the links down below so that you can see the appropriate spoilers at the websites and blogs that they were released from. As far as the build phase, I wanted to make a couple of announcements. So week 10 is, as of tomorrow, it will be finishing up for the build phase league play, which I would like to thank all of the members that have played through the league. I'd like to thank them for actually playing, and I hope you guys had a lot of fun. We have a ton of prize support coming your way, so be ready for that, because I'm sure we'll be revealing that shortly. I believe we will be having signups soon, open to the public. So we had a lot of retention from a lot of the old league members that would like to play in the next season, but we do have a few spots open for newer members if you would like to join us. then you can reach out to us through the forums at thebuildface.com. Otherwise, you can reach us at contactus@thebuildface.com if you want to email us. If you have any suggestions or feedback, leave them in the comments down below, and please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, because with the release of the Legacy set being pushed back, it means that we'll be getting even more spoilers. So who knows, maybe we'll actually get, it's 4 weeks. We've already got about half of the expansion already revealed. If we're waiting another 4 weeks, then we might be getting the entire collection revealed. Although that would be kind of a bummer. I'd like to have some of the set still a surprise. So, we have hardly seen any Guardians of the Galaxy or Defenders, which are two of my favorite teams. We will see in the future here. So until next time, this is the Build Face channel. Thanks for watching. My name is Danger Ford. Have a good day.